Good morning. If any one of you are wondering why am I sitting and staring at an empty screen, I'm still waiting for my co-host to arrive. The reason is obvious. With only a couple of dresses to choose from, I'm up and ready while she is still looking for best out of the lot. While we wait, with about 140, 300 people on online conference right now, I can split them into three different categories. The first are early joiners, but as the Sunday yet to get out of the bed. The second set of people are dressed up ready, but only where it matters. And the third set of people are fully charged up and waiting for an opportunity to show themselves in the camera. Hope by now all of you would have identified yourself. Be ready. We might anytime ask you to come on video. And finally, my co-host has arrived. Welcome, Toastmasters.
Thank you, Toastmaster Balaji. And stop complaining. Let's get used to this new normal. District Trio, distinguished Toastmasters, horrible guests, and fellow Toastmasters, welcome you all for a wonderful day 2 of District 120 Annual Conference 2021. Times of transition are strenuous, but love them. They are opportunity to rethink priorities and be intentional about new habits. Let us get the new normal going.
Absolutely, Vinita. Who would have thought we could pull an annual conference online with such a diverse group of audience? On the second and final day, we're here to witness inspiring guest speeches, compendious table topics, and eloquent international speech contest. Why wait? Let's get started.
Exactly. As we all know, change is never easy. If we are honest, many of us will admit that we are extremely uncomfortable whenever things change. Even as I deliver this introduction, the world is dealing with changes that we have never seen before and may never see it again. And many of us struggle with our new normal. Our guest speaker, Mark Brown, understands this all too well because his life has been a series of changes. He migrated to the USA from Jamaica at 18 with only 40 US dollars, say about 3,000 rupees in his pocket. And 15 years later, he was crowned the world champion of public speaking. Since then, he has inspired audiences on 5 continents, sharing his story and coping with constant change. Drawing from his experiences, facing health, career, and life changes, he will share simple yet significant principles which, when applied, will help us to find strength to navigate the new normal. Before I call him, Zoom Master, can we have a short video, please?
Mark Brown, the world champion of public speaking, 1995. Mark showed how to get an audience to think, feel, laugh and reflect in just 7 minutes. Mark Brown delivered a powerfully memorable speech using humor, rhetorical devices, characterization, and storytelling that is still referenced. 24 years later, Mark helps organizations excel through leadership, performance, and communication. Mark customizes coaching programs, specifically designed to fit the personal style and personality, regardless of one's level of proficiency. Mark is the author of a powerful book, The Speaker's Edge, which gives the tools to improve your platform presence and take command of the stage. Become internationally known as a content-rich speaker who keeps audiences on the edge of their seats. Win every deal you set your sights on and enjoy the vast rewards. It is your one-stop shop for speaking success and learn to master structure, content, and delivery all in one place. District 120 is delighted to have Mark Brown as the keynote speaker.
you. And audience, please note your chat box will be active for question and answers. With this presentation entitled Strength for Today, Hope for Tomorrow. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome the 1995 World Champion of Public Speaking, Mark Brown. Welcome to the virtual stage, sir.
Wow, this is absolutely exciting. I'm so thrilled to be a part of this wonderful event. And of course, very rarely do I get two more beautiful and handsome MCs to introduce me. I thank you both. And I thank you, my friends in District 120. Now, it's my third time being with you and my first time doing so virtually. I was blessed to visit when you were a different district number twice before. And once I brought my lovely wife, Andrea, with me. But this is an appointment. This is an opportunity for us to be together one more time. And I'm just so thrilled. I can hardly contain myself because every time we get together like this, it is another opportunity for us to reconnect. Yes, it's virtual, not physical, but it's a great chance to reconnect. And you know what? I consider you my friends and my family, part of my fraternity, and I'm just thrilled again to be here. And I want to give you a gift. Is that okay with all of you? I guess it would be okay. I want to give you a gift. And here it is. I have had the privilege for the last couple of years to work with my fellow world champion, Darren LaCroix, the 2001 world champion of public speaking, on a podcast called, get this, the Unforgettable Presentations Podcast. We got some great news this past week. We found out that our podcast was listed one of the top 20 presentation podcasts of 2021. What a blessing. Then someone else said, oh, we ranked your podcast in the top 1.5% of podcasts globally. What does that mean? It means out of 2.5 million podcasts, they rank ours in the top 1.5%. Now, why do I brag about this? I'm not really bragging. I'd love for you, my fellow Toastmasters, to listen in to the Unforgettable Presentations podcast. It costs you 0 rupees to listen in. And all you have to do is go to your screen, get your mobile phone. Now, if like me, you have an old Galaxy S7 device, you need to get like a QR reader, but you modern people with your modern iPhones, all you got to do is scan the QR code that you will see come up on the screen in a second, and you scan that QR code, and what happens is you get a link to see the Unforgettable Presentations podcast. Those of you who were at convention in 2019, our last live convention, you saw a man named Jia Zhang, who was the master of rejection. He's been in our podcast with the arrow there as well. We've had people like Kendra Hall, who's a master of storytelling. She wrote a book called Stories That Stick. And anybody who knows anything about speaking professionally, you probably know the name Les Brown, the man, Les Brown. You got to be hungry. We had the blessing of interviewing him as well on our podcast. There's an arrow beside his name. Simply scan that QR code. It's my free gift to you for tools and techniques to be better speakers, better people, and better Toastmasters every single day. Please just scan the QR code. I'd love to also stay in touch with you after this as well. I can't give you everything I have today. I simply physically can't do that. However, I'd love for you to get my free MP3, which says, Pursue Your Passion. It's a 5-step program on how to live the life you want, because I've been blessed in so many ways. I want to share it with you. All you got to do is scan that QR code. Again, it costs you 0 rupees. Why tell you all of this? Because I believe it is my duty to share what I have with you, both live and in any other means that I can. Why? Because you are like family to me. And I'm really extra thrilled for one other reason. I know the world has changed in the last 15 months. Would you agree with that? I think you would. For all of us, it has changed, and we can navigate these difficult seasons. And many of us right now are living lives that are full of uncertainty. If that's you, you can just kind of raise your hand or give me a reaction button like a thumbs up or a clap hand or something to let me know you agree that these are difficult times. Now, those of you who have cameras off, I'm going to assume your house is a mess, so your camera is off. Otherwise, put them on so I can see your smiling faces. There you go. Thank you all so very much. Nina John, good to see you, my dear. Thank you so much. Seeing you again. Listen, I know it's changed. I've been through it. We're all going through it. And we need to find strength for now, for today. Would you agree? And I realize that life continues to throw things at us that require us to find that inner strength, which, truth be told, we may not know we have, but it's there. It's there. I'm going to offer you some ideas today, 4 ways to find strength for today and hope for tomorrow. Are you with me? Are your seatbelts on? It's going to be a ride because I'll tell you what, it's after midnight here and I'm ready to go, okay? Now, I realize the last 15 months have been difficult. But if you go back over your life, you probably say there were times that you had difficult seasons. Yet you came through them, right? Yet you're here right now, right? And it may seem right now that things are going so bad. We're on a lockdown. We find our way back out and then, lockdown again. It's like the movies. In the movie, the hero has to overcome some great obstacle and they finally get it. Yes. And then something else goes wrong. That's kind of how life is. And I know not by theory or by movies, I know from experience. See, I'm Jamaican by birth. You know that. And I moved to the USA when I was 18 years old. Began to build a nice life with my lovely wife, Andrea, and we had 2 children, Andrine, who is now 37, and Joel, who is now 34. But way back in 1993, I just begun my Toastmasters journey. I became a Toastmaster in March, April of 1993. And in June, something happened that changed my life. I went out one day after work to buy some groceries to help my wife prepare a meal for our guests. I felt a significant, harsh chest pain. I knew something was wrong. I collapsed and I passed out in the parking lot. They called for the ambulance. And I know many of you have been hearing the ambulance sounds a lot these last 2 days. I understand that. And I was rushed to a local hospital. After a medical diagnosis, and I'm going to give you the Reader's Digest condensed version. It's a 2-hour story. The doctors diagnosed me with multiple pulmonary emboli. Is that as clear as mud? What they found were blood clots in my lungs, blocking about 60% of my lungs. Now, I was physically fit back then, but it was serious. That was the good news. The bad news was they found one massive clot inside my heart. The doctors told my wife, at best, I had a 50-50 chance of survival. And my medical doctor sat with my wife in his office, crying with my wife, because he wasn't sure I would live. In my early 30s, I'm in the intensive care unit with people who were 2 times my age. I had 2 small kids who had no idea what was going on. And over 3 days, I passed out 4 times. And doctors chose to do a procedure they had to do to save my life. My kids were about 50 meters away, outside, watching cartoons, unaware that my life was slipping away. My wife tells me they saw my eyes roll over. They call what's called a code for all you medical pros out there. They rushed my wife and her best friend out of the room. They put a tube in my throat, and I woke up with this tube in my throat. I don't know how long I was gone, but I came back. It took me a while to recover, several weeks, and I sat one day with a cardiologist who had saved my life. I said, Dr. McCando, you showed me about the heart and the valves and the lungs and all of that, and based on what you tell me, I shouldn't be alive. So please, doctor, tell me, why am I still here? And he gave me this wonderful medical, clinical answer. He said, I have no idea. It's the grace of God. Right now, things are tough. I can't imagine how tough it is for you in India right now, having gone through what you thought was a process of recovery, only to be told you're locked down again. You can't leave your house again. You're getting stir crazy again. But I know this. I found strength in my faith. It is not my intent to convert anyone to any religion, because in its basic form, the word faith means this. Faith says, I don't see it, but I believe it. Faith says, I don't see it, but I believe it. And you may not see your way through this changing time, through this pandemic, through this second lockdown now. You may have no clue how it's going to come, but faith says, I don't see it, but I believe it. My wife knew I could die at any moment, but she refused to let go. Her faith says, my husband will come back to me. My kids will see their father again. Her faith was strong. Along with faith, you get your family. My sister was in Florida. I was in New York. My aunt, a nurse in New York, called Florida and said, I don't know who's going to come, but somebody better come right now because you may never see him alive again. And my sister was there. Her faith, my wife's faith, our friend's faith, our family's faith, the people who believe there is more yet to come for me, strengthened her. And I can't explain it. My doctor can't explain it. But as you can tell, I'm not a hologram. It's not Zoom. It really is me. I have no clue how hard it is for you right now. But trust me, you may not see it, but you have to believe it. And you have to believe it together, because you will be stronger together. It is a difficult time. We have no answer. We can't see that future, but faith says we will get through this. We will get through this. Because the truth is, the harsh truth is, it's not just one or two occasions that you go through these things. Life has a way of giving you little tests every now and then. Who can relate to that? Who felt yourself tested before the COVID? Who's being tested now? Who was tested 10 years ago? I know I was. One of the keys is to look back over your life. When you're in a difficult spot, here's a key for you. Look back over your life, recall, rehearse, and relate the memories you have of those times when you found strength. What do I mean by that? When I say recall, remember them, look for them. Wait, I was 90. Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. No, don't forget. Remind yourself, because the memory of what you came through will give you strength for today to get through what you're going through now. Remember them. Rehearse them. Play them over again in your mind. Oh, I play my brush with death over, and I'm thankful I'm still here. But then you got to not only remember and rehearse, but you got to relate them. I mean, talk about them. Inspire your fellow Toastmasters. Inspire your friends, your neighbors, your family. Talk about the times you found strength, the times you pushed through, the times your faith received an answer. Because that way you get some more strength for today. One of our problems is, I say our because I'm human too. One of our problems is when we are faced with a problem, it seems the whole world is a problem. If you agree, again, give me a thumbs up on a reaction, give me applause, give me a thing, or give me a wave. I can see some people over here, and I can see a few over here. When was the last time you remembered, you recalled, and told a story of what you went through? Perhaps it's time to do that now. Perhaps by doing so for somebody new, somebody in your club, somebody who's new to the organization, perhaps by telling your story to them of what you went through, you can be the one to inspire them, to reignite their passion, to give them hope when they believe all hope is lost. We got through this, and so can you. Faith is so powerful to give you strength for today and hope for tomorrow. But along with our faith, we have our friends. And friends are so meaningful. I hate to say this, but I'm going to ask you anyway, so be really honest, okay? Have you ever had friends, or do you now have friends who feel even closer than your own family? Mm-hmm. Ah, my co-hosts are laughing. Ah, okay, my two MCs are laughing. Yeah, we have friends. I see you, Praveen. Okay, We have friends who are even closer than our family. Now, my wife will tease me. I have an older brother. We call him Woody. I mean, we were in the same room for almost 19 years, never had a fist fight ever in our lives. Isn't that crazy? And we cannot talk for 6 or 7 months and we're good. But other friends, we see them every week and they're meaningful. My brother will always be my brother. But sometimes your friends, you see them more, especially when family moves away. My brother's in Florida with my sister. Me, I'm in Georgia. I don't see them that often. We talk on the phone. We might even Zoom once in a while. But my friends here, I see them every week. And friends can be a source of strength. Back in 93, when I was really sick, my wife had a couple of really good friends who to this day are like sisters to her. One is Jackie. Jackie was with my wife that day when doctors called the medical code on me. Jackie is the one who took my 2 kids for several days when I got home to recover and my wife was nursing me back to health. Think of the friends you have. Perhaps a friend who has been very close to you, but you may have fallen out of touch for one reason or another. We're all on lockdown now. What's it going to cost you to get your mobile phone, to send a WhatsApp, or better yet, call them up. Say, hey, it's been a while. How you doing? No. How you really doing? I challenge you. Friends can be your source of strength. But I want to flip it. I want to challenge you to be that friend, to be someone else's source of strength, even in the midst of your struggle. Because there is power in being the one to support someone else, even while you are going through your hard time. True friends don't say, we have some friends who will ask you, how you doing? And God forbid you tell the truth. Well, I'm having a little bit of a difficult time right now. Oh, you think you got problems? Well, hear what I'm going through. Anybody here got friends like that? Show me a few hands. Anybody here got, a couple of you? Yeah, they don't want to give you their problems. But you know what? Sometimes the best way to be a friend is to be the one to listen, despite your own struggle. Because by listening and encouraging, by relating your stories that you rehearsed, you give them strength for today. And then they can pass that on down the road. Because you know what? We all can't be strong at the same time. My wife and I have this pact that we made, a deal with each other. We both can't have a bad day on the same day. Are you hearing me, my co-MCs? Are you hearing this? You can't. Thank you. We can't both have a bad day on the same day. If my wife says it's not going so well, my day can't be bad. Because you know what? We can provide strength for each other. Outside the marriage bond, with our friends, when you make that call, don't make that call with the intent first to tell them what you're going through. Make the call, send the WhatsApp, have that Zoom call to listen. And do all you can to give them strength for today that they can pass on. And hopefully someone else, one of your other friends, will call you up, will talk with you and give you strength for today and encourage you with hope for tomorrow. So don't forget now, your faith says, I don't see it, but I believe it. And your friends may need your words. Your friends may need your call. And I know we can't be together physically, but sometimes a friend could just take a message, a card, a note that comes at just the right time. And you may not even know it. I would suspect there are individuals here who have friends who may have sent them a card or a note unexpectedly that blessed you, that touched your heart and lifted your spirit. If we ever need friends like that, it's now. If we ever need to be friends like that, it's now. We've got our faith. We have our friends. We also have what I call our fraternity. I'm not talking about U.S. universities and fraternities who drink beer and carry on and have parties. I don't mean that. I mean fraternity in the sense of brotherhood and sisterhood. Fraternity in the sense of belonging. And there's no greater place to look for fraternity than Toastmasters International and District 120. You should all be a fraternity, having a common goal to become better communicators, better leaders, better human beings, better citizens, better individuals who make contributions to our society. Let's step back for a second and look at what that really means in terms of our daily lives. Yes, we go to Toastmasters, we take our different paths on pathways. If you're old school like me, you go back to your old manuals or projects. And we go through these, we get our certifications or CC or CL or advanced. We do all of that. We go through all our paths and we go for our DTA, we get our Triple Crown, we get awards. But in the process, what happens? We build bonds that strengthen us. I dare say I have met Toastmasters who have built such strong bonds within Toastmasters, they became bonded, as in man and wife. I had the privilege in Pennsylvania several years ago to officiate a Toastmasters a wedding meeting. I drove from New York to Pennsylvania. It was hot. There was no air conditioning. And they had a Toastmaster and a woman he had met at Toastmasters. We conducted a Toastmasters themed wedding for them. It wasn't official. They had the official wedding later. But I returned several years later to that same Toastmasters club. And who greeted me? The same two Toastmasters now as husband and wife. And I think they're also parents. That's a bond built at Toastmasters. I know of couples right there in India who met as Toastmasters who are now husband and wife. What we have in the fraternity is not just romantic relationships, but bonds that last a lifetime. The organization has so much to offer in terms of skill building, but the relationship building and the bonds that we have are so powerful. You know, I went to my first Toastmaster meeting in 1992, and I dare say there are individuals on this call right now who were not even born yet. And that was 29 years ago. I'm not even too sure my MCs were born yet. Anyway, I made some friends there, and they're friends for life. If you ask around, you'll see there are Toastmasters in your district who've been around for a long time, 10, 20, 30 years or more, because the fraternity, the family that we have is so powerful. Matter of fact, I noticed recently on the Toastmasters International Facebook page, there was a discussion about why are Toastmasters leaving the organization. I made a post and I said, you know what? I've heard so many reasons people are leaving. I want to know reasons why you stay. And the overwhelming response was, oh, the bonds I build, the friends, what I learn, what I get to share, how I get to teach. That's what this fraternity can do for each other. In a time when, if we look at our work, our situation, we're locked down again. We hear sirens again. We can't go out again. But Toastmasters is not just a meeting for an hour and a half or 2 hours. No, we build bonds. We build relationships. And some of the encouragement that we need, we get from our fellow Toastmasters. We learn that in Toastmasters. It's called mentorship. Hello. We learn to encourage. It's called evaluation. Hello. We learn to have good conversation. It's called table topics. It's how you view your Toastmasters experience. Think about it differently. Think of the bonds you can build with all the individuals who are here. Your numbers are small today. It's only 252 of you here today. A small number relatively. But if we all thought the same way and said, let's build this fraternity. Let's make it strong, not only strong here, but strong around the world. Here's the coolest part of being stuck with Zoom fatigue and being stuck with virtual meetings. Any one of us can go on a Zoom call and visit a club anywhere in the world without having to buy a plane ticket, get a hotel, get 85 shots for immunization, and go through immigration and deal with. We don't have to do any of that. And so many Toastmasters clubs, part of our fraternity, have opened themselves up for us to visit. What do we get as a benefit? we get to learn about different cultures. We get to meet different people. We get to build different relationships. We get, through the fraternity of Toastmasters, we get to show the world what peace looks like across different ethnic groups, religions, country, and belief, because our common bond is Toastmasters. If only the world heads of state could take a page out of our book, what would the world be like? So I challenge you. You want to find some strength for the day? You want to change your boring routine that's getting you crazy? Visit a different Toastmasters club in a different country, and maybe one that often speaks a different language. One of my dear friends in the UK speaks English, but he joined two clubs in Europe. One is Spanish speaking, the other is French speaking. He now says, okay, I can build my language skills by joining a different Toastmasters club in a different country. How cool is that? And he now sees, oh, how could I use this skill down the road, being multilingual? He now has hope for tomorrow in terms of what his life can be like, maybe for job opportunities, because he chose to take advantage of the beauty of fraternity. The world has changed in many negative ways. But one positive way is we now can see the world differently. Even when we go through difficult situations, change is guaranteed to come. Change is inevitable. There is nothing we can do about it. Change is going to challenge us. I get it. And even when I'm done today and you do your conference, maybe tomorrow, next week, next month, next year, you're going to face another change. Because change is one guaranteed constant. Change for me was my life in Jamaica to America. Change meant a health situation. Change also occurs for many of us when it comes to our work. I can recall I spent a lot of years giving talks in schools all across the world. I would love what I was doing. A company actually hired me. They hired me to talk to kids. They paid me. They paid my expenses, and I got to inspire kids. How cool is that? And 6 years ago, the company said, oh, we have some budgetary concerns. We'll have to cancel your program, which meant my wonderful job, my beautiful income went from here to zero overnight. Perhaps you've been there, but you're still here. Perhaps you've been there, but you're still here, like me. That was difficult. I'll confess to you, I'm being really honest, that was embarrassing. Here I am, Mark Brown, Toastmasters world champion, speaking all over the world, out of a job. Talk about needing strength. And where did my strength come from? One was my faith. Two, my friends. And the cool thing is when your friends are also part of your fraternity, it's a double blessing. I mentioned earlier my podcast co-host, Darren LaCroix. Perhaps you know who he is. He has about 8 times my energy on the stage, okay? Darren McCall, oh my gosh, no, get over it. It's okay. That's Darren, if you all know Darren. He's so much fun. But he was the first person, when I told him what happened, he said, hey, come work with me. Come work with me. And if anyone here is familiar with Stage Time University, Darren LaCroix runs that. I'm on his faculty. I work with him. We do programs every month together, 2-day workshops. We used to do live, now we're doing virtual. But my friend, who was part of my fraternity, was the first one to say, I'll give you strength for the day. And we hope that tomorrow it'll get better. Again, you think back. Do you recall a time? Can you recall a time when a friend or part of your fraternity came through for you when you needed strength, when you had no hope, like my wife's friends, Jackie, and so many others who supported me? When you lose almost everything, you know who your friends are. And sometimes the fraternity shows themselves strong on your behalf to give you that strength for today, to give you that bright hope for tomorrow. Friends, I know it's tough right now, but think of all those times. And remember, if you got through that, you'll get through this. And sometimes it's more than faith. It's more than friends. Sometimes it's also family. Now I had faith, I had friends, I had fraternity. The fourth one is family. And I kind of leave family for last because family to me, it's difficult to explain to you how much family means to me. But I want to give you a slightly different perspective on this. Because sometimes family are the ones who need your strength. And family are the ones who will show you their strength when you don't have your own. I mentioned before I have a daughter. Her name is Andreen. She's 37 years old, and she's my princess. She's my inspiration. And I'll tell you why. She's the eldest. Her two brothers are Joel and David. Joel is 34, and David is 26. And Andreen has had some health issues throughout her life, into her teenage years. I can recall she was doing her undergraduate work in university in New York. And a short time before her finals, she had some serious abdominal pains. She was diagnosed with a gallbladder. She had to have emergency gallbladder surgery. And my precious princess, after her surgery, thankfully it was laparoscopic, 3 small incisions done with machines. And I wonder if video game experts could become good surgeons. I don't know. Random thought. Anyway, she would sit in her living room with her laptop and she would study and she would work. And when her professors told her it's okay to take time off, she said, no, I got to get through this. And she passed her law school exam. She passed her exams, got into law school, and she is the reason I left New York to come to Georgia. She got into law school in a full ride. Woohoo, proud dad right here. And she aced her law school, man. She passed the bar exam in Georgia. She passed the New York bar exam, and she has since flown the coop and gone on about her life. She now lives in Virginia, and my daughter was the first person of color to be a senior attorney in her division of the Social Security Administration of the USA. Am I bragging? Absolutely. I'm proud of my daughter for what she has come through. And of course, she got through that, right? She got strength. She got through it. She had faith. She had family. She had friends, fraternity. She got through it, and it was great. And then in 2017, after having all kinds of medical issues, she got her latest diagnosis: multiple sclerosis, a disease that attacks your nervous system and your spine. It can really break you down and potentially can paralyze you almost. Now, there's different levels of it, and I don't say it to scare you. It's not a bad story. But she was dating a young man, Roland. And when she got the diagnosis and realized how bad it could be, she said to him, listen, with this disease, I could end up in a wheelchair. And this young man looked at my daughter and said, well, if you do end up in a wheelchair, I'll push you wherever you need to go because I am here for you. I like him. And we saw our daughter find a way through physical pain to get exercise every 3-4 days a week. She was doing what they call Orange Theory fitness. She go for hikes and walks. There are days she was doing really, really poorly, but she would fight through it. And Roland was there with her the whole time. She'd come to our home for holidays and she'd make sure he came with her, and our family got together. And I saw a friend whose faith supported my daughter. And it came to a point where this young man was here one holiday season and he asked me to join him outside on the front porch. I said, okay, I can do that. And he showed me, a photograph of a ring he had gotten for my daughter. Nice. And last year in August, on the 21st of August, I had the honor the blessing and the privilege of officiating my daughter's wedding. And on that day, our family got together despite COVID. They drove from Virginia and Maryland to Georgia. We all got COVID tests. We all were negative. And we had a very small family-only wedding. And there's my family. You can tell which one is me with the biggest teeth. Next to me is my son, Joel, a 34-year-old. He is the director of staffing in the Washington, D.C. public school system. There's Andrine and Roland, her husband now, my beautiful and blessed wife, Andrea, of 39 years, by the way, and our youngest, David, is on the right. Again, am I bragging? Definitely. My daughter has come through and still battles multiple sclerosis. But she has come through it because she has faith. She has family. She has friends. A matter of fact, in 2019, she decided that she was going to join the Walk for Multiple Sclerosis Research in Washington, D.C., and get friends to join her. They would sponsor the walk that she would do. I thought that was kind of cool. We were in Georgia, about to leave for a Toastmasters event in Marseille, France. But that morning, we went to walk in the rain with our umbrella. Did I say fraternity gives you strength? One particular friend, a fellow Toastmaster who lives on the West Coast, 3 hours time difference away, said, I cannot be in Washington, D.C., but I will walk with your daughter for her and for her cause. That is the fraternity to which you and I belong, that transcends time and space and time zones. Here's someone who I met through Toastmasters who says, your daughter is fighting a disease. I'll help her do that. She asked her friends to help her. I want to raise $3,000 for multiple sclerosis research. Her friends, her family, my fraternity helped her to do just that. And when it was all over, it rained that day in D.C., but they were all there. Her then fiance, Roland, they were all there. And when they were done, she raised her $3,000 times 3, $9,000, because she had family, she had friends, and we had fraternity who would support us to give her strength to get through a disease, which she still has, but she still fights. Why? Because she has hope that through the research, they'll find answers, not only for her, but for everyone else who is fighting a disease. Who can we help and support? Who may be in our fraternity, who beyond Toastmasters is battling a disease, is battling a struggle of loss of income, as I did, who is battling the potential of loss of a loved one or family member. How can we help? How can we give them strength for today? How can we pledge to walk with them so they can find hope for tomorrow? It's not just about speeches and evaluations and getting a credential or getting a triple crown, or it's so far beyond that. What we can do together as we struggle with this second COVID wave, as you deal with all of that, there's still ways to find glimmers of hope. There's still ways to strengthen those around us. There's still ways to be strengthened by each other. There's still ways to do this all together. A book of wisdom says a cord of 3 strands is not easily broken. 1 maybe, but 3, oh no. I think of what it's like out in the field with an anthill. Huge mound where ants live, and maybe some creature, a grasshopper, a lizard, a moth, a beetle, or something 100 times their size somehow gets hung up in the anthill and disturbs the anthill like COVID disturbs all of us. But what happens? Immediately, you'll see ants come scurrying out and they attack that thing and they begin to, within an hour and a half, you have no clue that creature was there. Why? Because they did it together. They were stronger together. An obstacle for one right now is an obstacle for all of us. We're all dealing with it. But how can we encourage each other? How can we lift each other? How can we bless each other? Well, we can find strength, one, by recalling, rehearsing, and relating what we have in the past. The memories are meaningful. But there's something else that we can do. Well, there's two more things to do. One has to do with perspective. I was downstairs a few weeks ago and I noticed that the rain was falling heavily outside, but something caught my eye. It was unusual. I could see the sun shining while the rain was falling. Help me out. Have you ever seen the sunshine while it was raining? Anybody? Give me a wave. Give me a thumbs up. Anybody? 2.5 people. Okay, great. It struck me. We see rain. And oh no, it's falling. I'm going to get wet. Oh my God. Honey, did you get it? Oh, get the clothes. No. But the sun was still shining. I want to ask all of you to look for the sunshine in the rain. To seek the sunshine in the rain. During the dark, what we think is a dark season, it's a second COVID wave. We're at work every day. We're stuck at computers. I want to get away from all of this. Is there some sunshine in your rain? I don't know what that sunshine is for you. It may be the memories that you have, but it may be a little, what I call a kiss from God. It could be that phone call. It could be somebody who sends a meal and pays for it for you, or somebody who sends flowers. Send flowers, how cheesy is that? For some people, it's an act of love that blesses their heart. It really, really is. And for yourself, what is that ray of sunshine in the midst of the rain that you're experiencing now? And for some of us, we make a mistake. We fail to see the rays of sunshine that are shining on us or right beside us, our children, our loved ones. For some people, being home and locked in with an aging parent, being a caregiver, you can't get a break. You can't go play some basketball or some tennis or some cricket or whatever. You can't leave the house, and you're a caregiver, you're cooking. I understand what that's like. Believe me, I understand what it's like. My wife and I, her father was dealing with a heart issue 2 years ago when he was here. I was his main caregiver for several weeks. I get that. But sometimes the individual who's older, who's with us, who may seem to be a bit of a burden, if we're going to be really honest, sometimes if we just stop what we're doing and had a conversation with them, we may find wisdom flow from their lips. The stories they tell, the experience that they had, the lessons they can teach us to prevent us from making mistakes. They could be sunshine right in the middle of a rain and we don't even see them there. And sometimes on the opposite end, the sunshine is that annoying child we have, but they play with such abandon. They don't worry too much because they don't realize that worrying can't help them. So they don't worry, they play. And once in a while, I think we as adults should have Happy Meals. What? McDonald's Happy Meal? What? The McDonald's Happy Meals are a wonderful thing. I don't know if they exist in India, but here it is in America. The Happy Meal is a little burger, French fries, is a toy in there for the kid to play with. We forget to play. We forget to have fun. We're so focused on our work, getting ahead and achieving, we forget to just have some fun. So I'm going to ask you, recall the memories, rehearse them and repeat them. I'm going to ask you to seek the sunshine in the middle of the rain, which may be right around you and you don't even realize it. And there's one more thing I'm going to ask you all to do, is this. Turn some questions into statements. Let me clarify. Will we ever get through this? Question. We will one day get through this. Statement. How am I ever going to pay all my bills? I will find a way to pay my bills. Will I ever stop getting crazy from being locked in all this time? I'll find a way to deal with being locked in. Change questions into statements. Can I do this? I can do this. Will we go there? One day we will go there. Will we ever? One day we will. The only variable I can answer for you is the when. But when the question comes to me, will my dear friends in District 120 ever get out from under COVID? My faith says, I don't know when, but I believe they will. I'm going to ask you all to fortify your faith, to be a friend and lean on your friends, to live as fraternity and expand your reach globally, to love on your family. Give each other that strength for today by remembering, rehearsing, and relating those memories. Seek the sunshine, not only for yourself, but for those around you. And if you do that, if you turn your questions into statements, eventually you will find strength for today, and we will share hope for tomorrow. My friends, I am honored and blessed to serve you today. I urge you to dream big, to work bigger, to be strong, and never, ever give up hope. My fellow Toastmasters. Over to you.
Thank you, Mark. That was an inspiring, most required speech, instilling strength and faith in the times that we are going through. I loved the ride on a midnight. It is midnight in the US, and you did take us through a roller coaster of a ride through an emotional speech. Every time we hit the low, you gave us that one point from your life and asked us to reflect back on our own life to find that strength to come back up. I think around 300 people in the conference are going to take this message through, and I'm sure this will reach more than 1 million people by the end of this week. With that, I thank you again, Mark Brown, and let's move on to some of the questions that have come for Mark. Vinita, you want to read out the questions?
Yes, exactly. So we have few questions for you from our fellow Toastmasters. So I go with for the first one. We have Rahul Nuveen from VIT, and he was asking you, like, how do we overcome the fear of missing out?
FOMO. That I understand is a very common fear. Where the world is right now, there's not too much we miss out on. But if we fear, if I don't do this now, I'll miss out. The concern I have is that by focusing on what we might miss, we miss what's right in front of us. I believe chances do come around. Very rarely do we have 1 in a million chances. And if we choose to treat each other as fraternity, as I said earlier, I believe other opportunities will come around. But if we dwell in the fear, we won't face what's here. If we dwell in the fear, we won't face what's here. I hope that's helpful.
Thank you, Mark. And we have a second question from Toastmaster Lada from Chennai Phoenix Toastmasters Club. How to overcome fear of failure and take a decision for the next opportunity?
Overcoming fear of failure. Well, the word fear is a crazy word because fear says, what if, what if, what if? However, what if I succeed? What are the benefits? Turn the question the other way around. What if I fail becomes, what if I succeed? What can I do next? What can I achieve? What will it do for me? So think of the potential for success and work towards that, because the fear of failure sets your mindset in failure. We don't want a failure mindset. We want a success mindset. So think in terms of what if I succeed? What are the benefits and who can I bless in return? I hope that is helpful to you.
Thank you so much. And we have a third question here posted by Ashok Kumar, and we also very curious to know about it. what is your secret of smile throughout the speech?
The
How
secret
do
of
your smile
easy.
throughout the entire speech?
Because honestly, everything I say, I believe. And because I believe it, it flows from me. I'm encouraged by my family and my fellow Toastmasters. And the truth is, I'm serving your district. You are my family. Praveen, Satish, Nina, John. I have friends for years there, and I'm just thrilled for the opportunity. So to me, I am blessed to be here, and it simply shows on my face. So
Great. And yeah, we have a question for you from our side. What is the takeaway you want to give for the beginners of Toastmasters?
if you are new to Toastmasters, you have embarked on an exciting journey. I don't know what is in store for you. You may have come to learn to be a better speaker, a better leader, to overcome some shyness or fear of public speaking. But the benefits of Toastmasters, regardless of the pathway you take, goes far beyond the education and the speaking and the leading. If you commit yourselves to this program, you will be a better human being, a more effective communicator, a more influential leader. You'll be able to communicate your ideas more clearly, win contracts, and sell your superiors on your ideas. You may even find a spouse when you join Toastmasters, and the benefits are ongoing. How do I know? I went to my first meeting on 10 December 1992, and I'm still a dues paying member of Toastmasters, active in my club to this day, almost 29 years later. You probably will never find a better group anywhere. Stay with the fraternity and change your life for the better.
That's really true, Mark Brown, because we are a very new Toastmasters stepping and interviewing or giving talking with you is we are much pleasure to have you here. And right away, thank you so much for your humble answers. And now, may I request our program quality director Satish Menon to felicitate Mark Brown on the virtual stage.
Thank you, MCs, and a very big round of thanks and gratitude to Mark. He's always been there for us for District 120. Anytime we've reached out to him, he's been there. He's inspired a lot of us. He's shown us the path of positivity to move ahead. And in these difficult times, this was a session which is welcome and a ray of hope to a lot of us here. And thank you, Mark, again for coming all the way to Chennai in an online mode and entertaining and informing and enlightening District 120. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. PQD. I will say one thing very quickly for everyone here. You don't know this. The last time I came to Chennai, my wife and I came together. We arrived at about 3 o'clock in the morning, and your PQD was there personally. Your director was there, Praveen was there personally to host us. So when I say what your district means to me is real, trust me, these individuals have blessed my wife and me so many times, and I'm honored to serve you all. So thank you, thank you, and thank you again.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. I think all of us have had a wonderful session. What a way to set the stage for the contest coming next. If I am to speak 10 minutes, I need a week of preparation. 15 minutes, 3 days. If an hour, I'm ready now, said Woodrow Wilson. To challenge this quote, we have a table topic contestants who will be delivering an impromptu speech on 2 minutes. Now it's time to call the table topics contest chair. He holds a master degree in mathematics from Loyola College, currently a data analyst in an IT firm, Toastmaster since 5 years, now serving as division director for Division B. Let me invite distinguished Toastmaster Vaikunt, our conference chair today. Can we have Vaikunt on the virtual stage, please? Over to you.
Sudha and Balaji, thank you. We have the presence of our international director, Sudha Balaji ma'am. I wish to recognize her presence before we move on to the contest.
Thank you. Thank you. It's a pleasure having you, ma'am, here. We are honored, in fact, by two great personalities who are here to enlighten this crowd on a Sunday morning. I think we thank you from our bottom of our heart, and thank you very much for your presence.
Thank you. My pleasure to be with you all today. And thanks, Mark. You have made my day today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. We can move on to the contest.
Thank you.
Balaji and Vinita.
Let's get on with the table topic contest. Over to you, distinguished Toastmaster Vaikunth.
Thank you. Very good morning, fellow Toastmasters, friends of Toastmasters, guests. Whenever I look at a contest event, I think back to the tagline of Toastmasters, where leaders are made. But most of us join Toastmasters because we want to improve our public speaking, right? So is Toastmasters where leaders are made, or is Toastmasters where speakers are made? In a contest, I would say that you get the best of both worlds. It is the pinnacle, it is the epitome of both, where leaders are made in terms of organization of the event and where speakers are made in terms of the contestants that you're going to see today. I personally, whenever I visited any conference or contest, I used to take a notepad and a pen, and I used to note down how the speakers are speaking, what tricks and tips can I steal from them to incorporate in my next speeches. So I would recommend that all of you get out your pen and paper, because it is always easy for us to think, I would have spoken like this, I would have spoken like that if I got this topic, but it's very, very difficult to actually do so. So try to think about what you would have spoken if you were given this topic. And after all, I bet that each one of us would have joined Toastmasters to improve our public speaking ability. And a table topic contest is perhaps one of the best places to gauge our improvement. In the meanwhile, may I ask the Zoom master to disable the chat option except for the host and co-hosts. Please also stop the live streaming if it is still enabled. And